my next tip for you is being in the present moment, knowing that this life is a journey, that sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Manifesting to me is a spiritual journey. And I teach in stories, so I've got an amazing story to tell. So I went to this party and I met this incredible, very charismatic fellow. He had a little twinkle in his eye, and I really, really liked him. And he really liked me. There was a connection there. So we start talking, and he starts telling me about how he came from a very poor family. And he, at 17 years old, went on to somebody's yacht. He got invited to somebody's yacht. And at 17, he was wowed. He was like, oh, wow, I want a yacht. And so, you know, this passion overcame him to where he really wanted a yacht. And so he decided he was going to do anything and everything he could to buy a yacht one day. And so he started working hard, and, you know, and he worked and he worked, and he was smart, and he did everything he could. Well, he got his yacht. He earned the money and he bought his first yacht. And he said it was the happiest day of his life. Like, he had manifested, not by, you know, dreaming it and it just arriving. No, he dreamed it. He was on it. He felt it. And then he went and did the work to make it happen. And to me, manifestation is not just having this castle in the sky of what you're dreaming about, but it's actualizing it. Remember, the conscious creation is about creating it consciously of what you wanted. So he consciously created that he wanted a yacht. And then he manifested it by going and doing that and making it happen, making it real. So he said it was the happiest day of his life. He walked on his yacht. He was like, I own a yacht. And, you know, he was really proud of himself. And, but then he wanted a bigger yacht. So he worked and, you know, he got a bigger yacht, and then he wanted even a bigger yacht. And, you know, it came to a place where it didn't matter how big the yachts got. He was not happy. He could not find that happiness that he had from earning enough to get his first yacht. And so no matter how big the yacht became, he grew more and more unhappy. And so then he decided, well, maybe if I just give everything away, I will find my happiness again, because he realized he was happier before he had the yachts. So he did. He gave everything away. And things got really rough, and he ended up in a divorce, and then he didn't have a wife, and he didn't have any yachts. And I said, oh, well, did you find, you know, enlightenment? And he says, no, I never got enlightened. I never got happy. And in fact, I was miserable, and I was worse off when I didn't have any of the yachts. And, you know, and then I had no yachts, I had no wife, I had no money, and I had nothing. And I was more miserable than ever. And I said, oh, no. He says it was the opposite than what I thought. And so he said that he went back to work, and he went and he got himself another yacht. And he said this time he was happy with his one yacht. And he knew that it wasn't about having the bigger yacht. It wasn't about having more. It was about being happy with what he has. And I said, so if you did it all over again, what would you do? How would you do it? He said, I would do it again, all over again in a heartbeat. And this time I would do it bigger and I would do it better, but I would not give it all away. And I'd be happy with what I have. He goes, but I will say it was the journey, not the destination. And so I want to speak into that with manifesting. You know, sometimes we can get into this feeling of, if I have this, then I will be happy. And then we get the thing we think that's going to make us happy. And then we want another thing. And then we want another thing. And I just want to remind everyone that manifestation, to me, in my personal opinion, in my journey so far, is that we are spiritual beings living in a physical temple. Our body is our physical temple. And so we're spiritual beings living in this very physical world. And I believe it's definitely more than okay to want a yacht and a house and, to travel and to live abundantly, right? Abundant to me means having a life full of happiness, fulfillment, joy, having our needs met, but even more than just our needs met, like we can actually enjoy life to its full abundance. And Jesus talks about abundance. Jesus believes that we're meant to be abundant as well. The Garden of Eden, it's this abundant, beautiful place, like rich, beautiful soil in which things can grow. And so, manifesting is, of course, about actualizing whatever it is that we're wanting to actualize, whether it be a yacht or travel or happiness or joy or fulfillment, whatever it is that you are wanting to create. But this is a reminder of not only the present moment and our presence within where we are, who we are, what we have, but also in the gratefulness and the fulfillment of the present moment and the journey. Like my beautiful friend with the story, he said it wasn't about the more. It wasn't about being in the future. It was about being happy with what he had in that moment. And I love that he said, that the giving it all away also didn't fulfill him, because then we go back to, is it in the having what we have, or is it in the not having of what we have, or is it in being in the present moment of being fulfilled? And so there's a sweet spot there. And so my next tip for you is being in the present moment, knowing that this life is a journey, that sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Like for him, the fun was the journey to create this yacht for himself, and the feelings he felt when he was able to attain that, and how he kept trying to get back to that original feeling. And so what is that feeling there? It's the adventure of creation itself. It's the conscious creation and the in the moment embodiment of presence and fulfillment and joy in each and every moment. So I just want to remind you that happiness and abundance comes from within. I'm trying to remember where I heard this, but I just heard something recently about, if a materialistic place full of things made everyone happy, then that would be the kingdom of heaven. But the kingdom of heaven is really found within. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to want things, but what is your intention? What is your relationship with the having of whatever you're wanting to manifest? And then getting into an embodied place, and also embodying, what you are wanting to manifest is also what brings it in. And so that embodiment, the energy of embodying it itself, like I shared in some of the stories that I've shared so far, it was me embodying the feeling as if I already had what I was wanting to manifest. And that was and is the secret sauce of being able to manifest successfully and powerfully. But not only that, it's the gratefulness, the gratitude, the alignment with what we are embodying and what we are manifesting. And so that's a little bit about why I view it as a spiritual practice, a mindfulness practice of embodiment, of abundance, of manifesting, and consciously creating so that we can manifest what is in the highest and best good for who we are and what we are manifesting. In that story, you can really feel that the journey of manifestation, the journey of conscious creation itself was what brought this man such joy and happiness. And it was really less about having the yacht than being able to consciously create it in the first place. And this is why, again, I say that we are spiritual beings living in a material world. And it is a balance between the two, and a dance. That journey is a dance. I believe, for me personally, I am a very spiritual person, but I also love to have nice things. I love to live in a nice home. I love to drive a nice car. I love to be able to travel. I love the freedom that abundance brings me. But when I speak about abundance, I'm not just talking about material objects and money. I'm talking an abundance of love, an abundance of joy, abundance of fulfillment, abundance on every level. As the story goes, when he gave everything away, he was still not happy. And so it's not necessarily about not having things. And, I have the same story. When I was young, I decided to give everything away and not have a car and make very little money. And I wasn't any happier without the money and without the car and without the things. And actually, it was harder to get around, and I had to take the bus, and I didn't like taking the bus. And so it is a balance between the two, between the having and the not having. There's a balance between remembering it is about the journey, not necessarily about the destination. And this goes back to presence. How are you feeling inside your body? How are you feeling in your heart? How are you feeling in your mind? Being fully present within you. It's okay to want things, but how is your relationship with the things? Are you suffering because you think that you're not happy now, but once you have the thing that you want, then you're going to reach fulfillment, then you're going to have happiness? Or are you already in that fully present moment, and then knowing that this is just going to bring you more happiness? Or is all of your energy invested in having those things because you have a lack of fulfillment inside of you? And so again, remembering it's about the journey. It's always about the journey, not necessarily about the destination.